Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to everyone. Hope your evening's going well. Everyone's getting ready for Christmas, probably. Hopefully, all your shopping's wrapped up. But no, I just wanted to. There's some stories I wanted to cover that I wasn't able to cover today. Um, so I just wanted to go over those. Give a minute or so. See if some more people join us. See if I got these settings right here. Hang on just a sec. That is not setting. Well, maybe that'll update soon. Just a second here. See some more people jump on. All right. Well, so there's quite a few that I want to touch on here. Um, but as you know, as the title of this video, of the live stream, was that Tim Walz, in the wake of this Brown University shooting, now this man wants to ban assault weapons in the state of Minnesota. I mean, it's a mixed bag on way people think of assault weapons, but talking about a man here that couldn't even load a shotgun to go pheasant hunting. That's on video for everyone to see it. Don't believe me? Go look at the video. But anyway, I'll get to that story here in a few minutes. But I first wanted to talk about there's a story out there about Susie Wiles and Vanity Fair. Trump's White House chief of staff. Yeah, Vanity Fair just butchered this story up, talking about how she's claimed that Trump's got the demeanor of an alcoholic or something. It's like she was talking about her own father and how they just twist. It's appalling what these outlets do to people anymore. I don't even know why the lady even went on there, even give them the time of day. But White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles blasted Vanity Fair on Tuesday for this generously framed hit piece. Wiles took to X on Tuesday morning to push back on Vanity Fair contributor Chris Whipple's piece, a roughly 30-minute read as top White House officials are publicly reaffirming their support for Wiles after its publication. Here's Susie Wiles' tweet. The article published earlier this morning is a disingenuously framed hit piece on me and the finest president, White House staff, and cabinet in history. Significant context was disregarded, and much of what I and others said about the team and the president was left out. Um, um, I assume after reading that it was done to paint an overwhelmingly chaotic and negative narrative about the president and our team. The truth is the Trump White House has already accomplished more in 11 months than any other president has accomplished in 8 years, and that is due to the unmatched leadership and vision of President Trump, for whom I have been honored to work for the better part of a decade. None of this will stop our relentless pursuit of making America great again. That was her tweet. And then the article goes on to say, it's published early this morning. Significant context was disregarded. Much of what I and others said about the team. I don't know why the article repeated itself, but that Whipple guy leads early in the article with an apparent attempt to sow division between Wiles and top White House and cabinet officials, including the president himself, with cherry-picked quotes from her statement. Now, does anyone honestly believe Susie Wiles is a sharp lady, man? To me, is truly phenomenal. And I think she's worked for Trump for over a decade. But does anyone honestly believe that this woman thinks that she would keep a job if she went out there and was talking about her boss that way? I mean, she's worked for the guy for over a decade. She knows how he is. He likes people that are loyal, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like he's a dictator. He just likes people that are loyal to him. He's a businessman. I mean, loyalty's big in the business world, in case anybody didn't know. So, yeah, Vanity Fair. Here's Russ Vogt. He is deputy White House chief of staff, I think. I don't remember, but anyway, Susie Wiles. This is his tweet. Susie Wiles is an exceptional chief of staff. I have had the privilege of working with President Trump's White House for every single minute of his 2 terms. Let me be very clear. It has never worked this well or been more oriented towards accomplishing what the president wants to do. So these outlets better be careful, because this man's made over $100 million in litigation since he's been in the White House, suing outlets that have twisted things that came out of his mouth and lied about it for defamation. He's fixing to sue the BBC, I think, for $1 billion for the way that they twisted his words on January the 6th into something that never even came out of his mouth. And they've already apologized for it. George Stephanopoulos from ABC, I think he got that man for like $25 million. And rightfully, he should sue him. Nobody should be slandered the way these people have slandered that guy. Shouldn't be done to Kamala Harris. Shouldn't be done to anybody. Put the truth out there. You twist what comes out of somebody's mouth to fit your agenda, your narrative, or whatever you're trying to peddle on your news channels, right? Just common sense. But then there was another article. Okay, so here's ABC's. This is ABC's rendition, one with Vanity Fair. In candid interviews with Vanity Fair, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles opened up about President Trump and his cabinet over the first year of Trump's second term. Wiles took part in 11 interviews that occurred in real time. Two parts of the interviews were published on Tuesday. In them, Wiles offered unreserved descriptions of top figures in the administration, including Trump, who said has an alcoholic personality, quote unquote. Wiles said Trump, who has repeatedly said he doesn't drink alcohol, said he operates with a view that there's nothing he can't do, nothing, zero, nothing. Trump, in an exclusive interview with the New York Post, said Wiles was right to tell Vanity Fair that he has an alcoholic personality. Quote, I've said that many times about myself. I'm fortunate I'm not a drinker. If I did, I could very well, because I've said that, what's the word? Not possessive and addictive type personality. Oh, I've said it many times before, Trump told the New York Post. Asked if he had full confidence in Wiles, the president said, oh, she's fantastic. On Vanity Fair, Wiles also called Vice President J.D. Vance a conspiracy theorist for a decade, and White House Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought a right-wing absolute zealot. Quote-unquote billionaire Elon Musk, she said, was an odd duck, as I think geniuses are, and avowed ketamine user. Wiles also weighed in on Attorney General Pam Bondi's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, most slashing the federal. Do you see ABC? These people are sick, man. Well, the truth is the Trump White House has already accomplished more in 11 months, which I read in another article. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt defended Wiles first on social media, then in a gaggle with reporters outside the White House. She called the Vanity Fair reporting disingenuous and said there was a quote-unquote bias of omission that excluded context and comments from Wiles and others in the administration. Quote, what I'll say about our chief of staff is you've seen not just myself, but also the entire cabinet is a groundswell of support from people on Capitol Hill who don't even work in this building about how incredible Susie Wiles has been to President Trump. And he's been able to accomplish so much because of his leadership and his tenacity, but also because of Chief of Staff Wiles' leadership and her ability to effectuate his agenda. Jeez, ABC's twisting it too, just trying to make. You see, they're trying to cause the dissension within the administration, but what they don't know is, they probably do, they just don't care, is that this is the most tight-knit group of people I think ever assembled in the White House. These people are like family. They're not going to tear them apart. They tried to do it with Elon and Trump. It didn't work, did it? Matter of fact, they're buddies again. I mean, matter of fact, I think Elon's fixing to donate a bunch of money to some Republicans running in the midterms that Trump's endorsed. So, and as these Democrats wanted all these Epstein files to come out, I think it's hilarious because all it's doing is just sinking them even further. The more that leaks out, the more they sink. It is comical, absolutely comical. So, yeah, I'm sure you won't hear anything else about Susie Wiles and this Vanity Fair crap. Let's see. Jeez, my internet's slow for some reason. The Trump White House torpedoes Biden attempt to shield autopen presidency files. Trump shot it down. Shot it down. Oh, geez. His attempt to the autopen presidency files. Let's see. What does it say here? Former President Joe Biden requested executive privilege amid the congressional investigations into his administration's use of the autopen, with the Trump administration rejecting the request Tuesday. Sorry, Joey. Quote, I am concerned the disclosure of these materials would damage important institutional interests of the presidency, including my impairing the ability of future presidents to receive robust, candid advice from their close advisors. For these reasons, I hereby assert executive privilege over the documents listed, close quote. Biden wrote in a letter to the Archival Operations Division of the National Archives and Records Administration, October 1st, 2025. Quote, I've raised no objections to multiple requests for presidential records from the administration, and hundreds of documents have already been provided to Congress pursuant to those requests, but the records now proposed for release include documents reflecting presidential decision-making and deliberations and other materials that are protected by executive privilege. White House counsel David Warrington responded Tuesday to the request in a letter to NARA, denying the calls for executive immunity. Such immunity protects government officials, notably the president, from lawsuits or prosecution over actions conducted while performing official duties. It's got a picture here of his signature without the auto pen, and then the signature with the auto pen. I mean, you can blatantly see that it's been altered. It's not the same signature. As President Trump stated, the abuse of the auto pen that took place during the presidency or Biden presidency and the extraordinary efforts to shield President Biden's diminished faculties from the public must be subject to a full accounting to assure nothing similar ever happens again. Can you even believe that the guy did it? That they even attempted that? Like, it's never going to be dug up or found out. I mean, everybody suspected something was going on the whole time he was in office. Just goes to show you how these people think that they can just do anything they want and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? It just... Oh, wow. Yeah, there's going to be more to come on this. I have a sneaky suspicion because this auto pen stuff ain't going away, but they ain't never going to do anything to Biden. The man ain't got a half a brain cell to rub together. Even if he had any before, he definitely don't have none now. How you going to bring him up criminally? Gee whiz. Nick Rayner. That man, his dad, Rob Rayner, and his wife, Michelle, were bludgeoned to death with a knife by their own son. Supposedly, accusations are that he had a drug problem and he had mental illness problems and he was homeless and he I guess lived on the streets and went to many states. But this guy helped his dad write or like do a film. I don't remember which film it was. Maybe it says in this article. But supposedly it had something to do with addiction or something. Let's see here. Fred Savage, an actor that appeared in Rob Reiner's The Princess Bride, took to Instagram Monday. He found me in a casting room downtown Chicago and gave me the opportunity to be part of something that has become so much bigger than anyone could have ever imagined. There's Michael Douglas, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah, so I guess they were at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party the night before they were murdered by their kid, allegedly. And apparently there was a shouting match. The boy got in a fight with his parents. I don't know if he was actually physically there. The parents were there. I don't know if it was on the phone or if they were all together. I don't remember. I don't really know 100%, so I don't really want to speculate. But the shouting match led to the mom and dad, the Reiners, leaving, and then they were murdered the next day. The guy allegedly cut their throats with a knife. Michael Douglas, who appeared in a few of Rob Reiner's movies, took Instagram most tragic situation for two extraordinary people who gave so much to make a better world. Rob and Michelle Reiner, I'm sorry, I don't know how you say that, will be deeply missed. Douglas captioned his post. Douglas also appeared in Reiner's quote unquote "And So It Goes." I don't know, is that like a movie series or something? Maybe a sitcom? I don't know. Zoe Deschanel continuing to mourn her on-screen dad, Reiner. She shared a video singing with Reiner while on set of his hit sitcom New Girl. The Princess Bride star Carrie Elwes was one of hundreds who commented on Dashiell's post. Son allegedly stabbed parents to death. Fled scene before arrest. According to a press release obtained by Fox News Digital, Nick Reiner is accused of fatally stabbing his mom and dad during the early morning hours of December 14th at their Brentwood home. The press release stated that Nick initially fled the scene and was later arrested that evening at Exposition Park. If convicted, his charge faces the death or life in state prison without parole. Nick Reiner has been officially charged with murder, according to a press release. We owe it to their memory to pursue justice and accountability for the lives that were taken. Prosecuting cases involving family violence are some of the most challenging and heart-wrenching we face because of the intimate and often brutal nature of the crimes. Nick Reiner checked into Santa Monica Hotel on the same day Rob and his wife were reported dead. Let's show some lavish hotel. Wow. The evidence of Nick Reiner's mental health would be. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say. He suffered from mental illness. So yeah, that's sad, man. And I don't really agree with Trump. You know, he weighs in on how much of a liberal and far left guy this Reiner guy was. So what? Doesn't matter. I mean, he still could have offered his condolences. I mean, maybe he did. I never heard it though. It was all Trump wanted to talk about was, you know, the guy was a left-wing hack. Who cares? Nobody should be killed like that, right? No one. So yeah, I'm sure this case will be all over television. Senator Tommy Tuberville. Everybody know him from Alabama? He came out, this is on PJ Media. He came out and said that Islamist, however you want to say it, are here to conquer. And great pearl clutching ensues. What do you think about that? After the Bondi Beach attack in Australia, as well as reports that the Brown University killer screamed Allahu Akbar as he opened fire in the ISIS murder of two American servicemen in Syria and the Muslim student at the University of Delaware who plotted a jihad massacre of campus police and all the rest, the nation is paying more attention to the Islamic Jihad in recent days than it has in quite some time. Tuberville, for one, has had quite enough. Now, he's an old country boy from Alabama, by the way. Has ties to the University of Alabama. Yeah, Tuberville wrote Sunday, Islam is not a religion, it's a cult. Islamists aren't here to assimilate. They're here to conquer. Stop worrying about offending the pearl clutchers. We've got to send them home now, or we'll become the United Caliphate of America. He's right. What did I say in my video today? Something quite similar to that. Go back and watch it. I think it came out at 2 o'clock, I think, today. This was guaranteed, as Tuberville might put it, to offend the pearl clutchers, and indeed, there was great clutching of pearls throughout our fair land. Senator Ed Markey fired back, quote, "These are hateful lies. Islamophobia has no place in our society. MAGA Republicans should stop spewing the kind of hate that divides us and foments violence." Excuse me? Coming from a Democrat? Why don't you say that to your own party, dude? Day in and day out, we've had to hear these people spew this crap out of their mouth for the last how many years? And he has the nerve to say something about Tommy Tuberville? Yeah, okay, whatever, bud. California State Senator Scott Warner wrote in the same vein, quote, "It's unwise to respond to every dumbass bigoted thing people say on the internet, but when a United States senator, albeit the dumbest United States senator, calls for denuclearization and deportation of an entire religion, you have to call it out as the evil it is." Not to be outdone, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, quote, "The normalization and acceptance of Islamophobia in our politics is disgusting. Our Muslim neighbors are not Republicans, scapegoats, or anti-Semitic attacks in Trump's failed policies. We must absolutely condemn Islamophobia loudly and hold those perpetuating it accountable." Okay. Well, when you do, then we'll start holding all you insurrectionists accountable then. All this crap you've been inciting for how many years, lady? Don't need no lecture from you. These people just, everything flows on one side of the street with them. Hypocrisy has no bounds, right? Does everyone know Danica Patrick? Used to race in the IndyCar series. Well, she's been a voice for, the MAGA movement and campaign for Trump and everything. Well, now she's been, I guess, attacked for her patriotism. The sport, let's see. It's over. Our long national nightmare is over. The NASCAR trial is finished. Where the heck did it? It was right here. What the hell is that? Oh, what in the world? Okay, well, never mind. That article has been taken down. Okay, can't say that I have ever seen that happen before, but nonetheless, here we are, right? Venezuela completely surrounded as Trump orders blockade over stolen U.S. assets. You know what that has to do with? Has to be oil. Let's see. President Trump on Tuesday ordered a total blockade of oil tankers entering or leaving Venezuela, declaring the Nicolas Maduro regime a foreign terrorist organization and accusing it of using stolen U.S. assets to finance terrorism, trafficking, and other criminal activity. Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Until such time as they return to the United States of America, all of the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us. Quote, the illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from these stolen oil fields to finance themselves, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping. He continued, for the theft of our assets and many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, and human trafficking, the Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Ruh-roh. Not good. Not good. Therefore, today I'm ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. Trump added the illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent in the United States during the week and an Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation, and likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Dude means business, y'all. Dude means business. Wow. That is going to get interesting. Gonna get interesting. All right, here goes Tampon Tim here. As I reported at the beginning of this live stream, Tim Walz pushes an assault weapons ban days after Brown University handgun attack. On Monday, just 2 days after a handgun attack at Brown University, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz pushed an assault weapons ban. Here's his tweet. A new poll shows overwhelming support for an assault weapons ban. Nearly 70% of Minnesotans support it. It's hard to get that much agreement on anything. People are demanding action on the weapons that have caused terror and heartbreak for our state. He did not define what constitutes an assault weapon, thereby leaving Minnesotans to guess whether the term would be applied as broadly as in Colorado, where some shotguns and pistols are included in the ban. Walz spent months pushing for more gun control after a transgender who changed his name from Robert to Robin opened fire on a Catholic school in Minneapolis on August 27, 2025. The transgender had a handgun, a shotgun, and a rifle. Walz's efforts to secure more gun control included pushing for a special legislative gun control session and even floating the idea of an assault weapons ban via an amendment to the state constitution. None of Walz's efforts were successful. Nevertheless, 2 days after the Brown University handgun attack, he revisited his desire to ban assault weapons. Here you go, Minnesota. Enjoy. Ain't happening where I live. I can promise you that. Not happening here. So, yeah, I just wanted to get those stories out. I wanted to. Well, I couldn't have done all those today because some of those they're newly reported. But yeah, so just want to get that out to everybody, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more great news, topics, discussion, all the above, right? Yeah, we have fun over here. So we appreciate you guys being here. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other.